beyond where polar bear cubs play, and penguins' only holiday, there lies a country hard to see without sufficient scrutiny. For underneath a magic cloak live quietly the Christmas folk.
It always was a happy place, an idyll for the elven race. Tending reindeer, mending sleigh, making toys for Christmas Day.
But this year things had not gone well. The taxes grew, but wages fell, and though the elves still wished to please, they faced a cost of living squeeze. For those in Santa's neighbourhood could not afford their Christmas pud.
The grotto grumbles grew apace, and labelled Santa a disgrace.
He's grown too old, he's lost his grip, a magical dictatorship. His government is too old hat, and quite incompetent at that. The elves would whisper angrily, it's time for a democracy.
Now Santa's ears hear far and wide, the elves could not their whispers hide, and what he heard and what he learned made Santa both sad and concerned.
With all his strength, as was his creed, he'd worked to bring relief to need, through peace on earth, joy and goodwill. These gripes were such a bitter pill. Supply chains were so firmly stuck, resources needed, out of luck.
And all the time the costs increased, demand for toys had almost ceased. Inflation climbing through the roof.
From jingle bells to Rudolph's hoof, what can I do to make things right? I know, a polar plebiscite.
Now what that means, more simply said, so you can get it run your head, the first time in all history the job of Santa would be free.
And all the people up the pole could elect someone to that role. Every elf would get a vote and chance to shoulder Santa's coat. As Santa said, so did he do. He called the elves and reindeers too, and named the first election day to decide who would ride the sleigh, completely without precedent, as Merry Christmas President.
Announcement made, chaos ensued, the populace was all confused. What elf would ever be so bold to break traditions centuries old, and think that they could hope to pace in Santa's boots and fill his place?
Stepped forward then from out the crowd, an elf both at once loud and proud. Glumpy the elf had lived away and made a fortune his own way. He was a born entrepreneur, and confident he knew the cure for current economic woe. They'd drill for oil beneath the snow and build a tall wall out of ice to prevent penguins spreading vice. Then he would block without reprieve the giving gifts on Christmas Eve. Besides, he'd reduce tax and all in ways that were transactional.
Elf confidence soon took a dip with one name on the ballot slip. Glumpy had such grandiose plans, though some elves were not such great fans. It looked like just a one-elf race, a prospect many could not face.
For Glumpy profit was the goal. Him riding high in every poll felt sure the Santa's job was his, because he was a business whiz. Big parties, posters, giveaways, social media posts in praise of everything that he'd achieved, and by most elves he was believed.
Then out of darkest polar night, one elf who summoned all her might spoke up and declared she would stand to take democracy in hand.
Elsie Elf thought the politics required a more holistic fix. She emphasized the good and true, the things that elves will want to do, how children learn to hope and dream, and trust the Father Christmas meme.
On Christmas Eve the children sleep, and then the magic burrows deep, restoring trust in higher things, with peace and love that goodwill brings. Although the world in crisis tends, with conflict in too many lands, some are lucky, some are not. Some are poor, some have a lot. We must remember, lose or win, we are the same beneath the skin.
Elsie's campaign was quite low-key, and on the cheap if not for free. She didn't have the kind of gold of that which Glumpy often told.
But as election day drew near, opinion polls were far from clear. When pollsters came and did attack, the candidates were neck and neck.
Still, Glumpy thought it in the bag. Said Elsie was a useless hag. But Elsie took another tack, avoiding personal attack, and when election day arrived, the democratic spirit thrived. The elves chose freely to elect the one whose values they'd respect.
With count all down and vote declared, the audience just stopped and stared, for Glumpy's face was fiery red, and from the stage he quickly fled. Elsie had won victory, the first elf in all history, in charge of Christmas everywhere. The kringle gown was hers to wear. Glumpy declared,
"It's all a steal, they've done a backroom power deal." But Elsie did not deign reply, except a humble weary sigh. When Santa offered her the crown, to his surprise she turned it down. Although the winning candidate, her instinct was to abdicate.
"Dear Santa, there is only one with skills to do what must be done, whose generous heart and guiding light can hope to turn the dark times bright. For all our sakes I turn to you to govern us by your virtue." Elsie smiled. "I charge you plain to make our Christmas great again."
And that is all that need be said. For Santa still commands the sled and climbs down chimneys Christmas Eve, as all good children do believe.